Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. I usually speak on deconstructing from toxic religion and obviously problematic snark on problematic Christian influencers, but today we are going to continue talking about the Mica Miller investigation. Now, if you are here from the snarking videos, hello and welcome. I have been covering the Mica Miller case investigation since day one. I think as well as you probably thought that this was going to be in like an open shut story, open shut case, and it would end fairly quickly. But to our amazement, I guess, and not like a positive amazement, but just like, whoa, this case has been opened up to great lengths that we wouldn't have even like thought of in a story, I guess. It has been windy. It has been exhausting. It has been sad, so sad, and the words can't even describe the depths to this investigation. Okay, so we have missed a few things together. I've been keeping up with this case, of course, but some things over the last few weeks have come out like boom, 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 one right after the other, and we're going to talk about most of those today. We're going to get back on, not in tune with but kind of in tune with what's going on, I guess, because it was pretty quiet for a while and some things happened. An FBI raid in JP's house, an arrest of JP. There have been a few things that have been going on. So we are going to watch another Robbie Harvey video, and little caveat there, if you I see it in the comments every single time I do a reaction using a Robbie Harvey video. I have not seen any type of life-altering accusation out of Robbie Harvey, though there are so many people in the comments who, I don't want to say so many people, but a few in the comments each time say you need to stop using Robbie Harvey videos. And in response to that, I'm saying, okay, then show me. Nobody has shown me. Okay, so in saying that, the only reason I am using Robbie Harvey's lives, Robbie Harvey's videos, is because he has kept up with the Mica Miller investigation. Now, if there is something absolutely disturbing that I see for myself, then of course I'm not going to use his stuff and I'll come out and tell y'all. But until then, I'm going to use his videos because they are very clear and concise, and I believe that he has insider information, and he keeps up with the investigation, whereas not a lot of content creators really have, because of the extent of the story of what's going on. Okay, so, and you'll have to excuse me if it looks like I just rolled out of bed, and walked down here. It's because I did. It's because I did. I woke up, brushed my teeth, I went to the bathroom, I got my coffee and my water and my heated blanket, and I walked down here, and hit record. So, because I need to get ready for the day after this, I'm not doing anything to my face just for a video. I think we're gonna understand. Okay, so we're going to watch a live today from Robbie Harvey. Oh, and I'm trying to talk a little lower, not lower, but like volume wise, because James is still sleeping. So, yes, we're going to watch a live from Robbie Harvey today, and it is entitled The Arrest of John Paul Miller. And the description says, the past week, John Paul Miller has not been too kind for him. What? Yeah, John Paul Miller has not been too kind for him. Okay. Just 5 days after the raid of his home by the FBI, which he's going to talk about, John Paul Miller was arrested for allegedly assaulting a Justice for Mica protester. After spending the night in jail, Miller was released on bond, denying a request for comment while walking out of jail. We'll break down everything we know and more. Remember, on April 27th, Mica Miller took her own life in North Carolina. Despite that, many have questioned the bizarre circumstances of her death, which, yes, we know. April 27th. That is insane, because we started covering this, like I started covering this on my channel. I mean, as soon as the sermon came out, when he was like, okay, this is what happened to my wife, but I'm still going to preach 2 sermons during the day. It didn't sit well with anybody that what he talked about, and going into the death of his wife, and it was self-induced, and everybody was like, wait a second, what? So yes, we've been covering it from day freaking 1, which is absolutely insane. So we are going to start this. Let me start screen recording really fast. Hold on. This is a live, so if there's any, live talk or live banter or whatever, I'm just gonna cut that out. So if there are like random cuts throughout this, y'all will know why. This is the situation that got JP arrested. So his arrest had nothing to do with Mica Miller. It had nothing to do with the investigation. It's because he allegedly touched a Mica protester. Okay.
Y'all. What's going on?
Which, let's be very clear. This woman, in my opinion, was dumb. She crossed the street from a different point of view. She crossed the street because she saw JP, walked up to JP, and started saying stuff like to his face. And I'm not sure like how he touched her. Obviously, like, that's not warranted. However, I believe she was the instigator in this. She crossed the street, walked up to JP, so she shouldn't have done any of that at all. Again, not saying him touching her was warranted because she crossed the street. I'm not saying that at all. I'm simply saying, why in the world would you seek out JP and like, you did blah, 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 and get this close to him? Why would you do that?
Welcome to tonight's show. Obviously, a very active day in the John Paul Miller story and the Mica Miller story. And now, I'm stunned at what we're witnessing. You guys know I like to have fun. You guys know I like to kind of joke around. But this was a very weird day, a stunning day. The national media is now really involved. I just got off the phone with Inside Edition as they're going to report on this story today. News Nation is on it, Court TV, everybody. For those of you just tuning in, or maybe you had a long day, you're just now settling in to catch up on the day's news. John Paul Miller arrested last night for allegedly assaulting a woman, a Justice for Mica protester. Before we dive deeper into that, I want to get into let's break down the last week. And I know a lot has happened over the last week. Last Friday, 6 days ago, FBI agents moved in on John Paul Miller and raided his home. They were there for over 5 hours. Now, what were they looking for? We're told by sources that this is in relation to interstate interference in regards to Mica. Now, obviously, nobody's going to confirm whether it's in regards to Mica's death, but we are told that, and according to Fitz News, we are told that it has to do with Mica before her death, interstate domestic violence. I said interstate interference, interstate domestic violence. Also, I'm sorry. It's just a weird day, guys. Let me know where you're watching from in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the share button. We're really going to dive into things. So this was Friday. And obviously the pressure is on for John Paul Miller. A stressful situation. Regina Ward, the attorney for Mica Miller, before her death and representing the family after her death, had this to say about the FBI raid.
Maybe a couple of months ago or so, I was actually served with a U.S. grand jury subpoena for all of my file materials and things that belong to Mica. So I knew firsthand at that point that it was actually serious. It wasn't just Robeson County saying, oh, you know, FBI came and did a parallel search. No, they were actually activating an investigation and was collecting the evidence, starting with me and witnesses and other potential victims and so forth. And of course, taking those next steps to execute a search warrant.
There's a couple things that she says in there that confirms what we reported at the time of the raid in regards to Mica. Okay. Now, again, we've been unable to confirm in regards to Mica's death. But
and also, I forgot to mention, I have not seen this. Okay. So, my whole, I guess, niche here is blind reacting. So I know surface level of his house got raided, and he got arrested, but I only know like that surface level stuff. So we are all learning this together.
Is dead. So in my opinion, in regards to Mica, seems to suggest anything in regards to her death. Anything in regards to any abuse, anything. It could be everything. We'll see. And then also, listen again. I wasn't planning on playing this again, but listen to this one more time. Listen to what she says.
Maybe a couple of months ago or so, I was actually served with a U.S. grand jury subpoena for all of my file materials and things that belong to Mica. So I knew firsthand at that point that it was actually serious. It wasn't just Robeson County saying, oh, you know, FBI came and did a parallel search. No, they were actually activating an investigation and was collecting the evidence, starting with me and witnesses and other potential victims and so forth. And of course, taking those next steps to execute a search warrant.
Other potential victims. I've been saying this is bigger than Mica. So it already seems that, according to Regina Ward, that other victims are involved. The FBI knows about them. According to Regina Ward, this is about Mica. And of course, we believe it's about financials. Let's see what else Regina had to say.
I have said, quite literally, from day one, it is Follow the money. Follow the money. The FBI should have just asked me, hey, I'm totally not being serious. But they're like, hey, how do you think we should solve this? Follow the freaking money. You're gonna find that little pot of gold at the end of the financial rainbow. Like, you're gonna find the truth if you follow the money.
This case and that search warrant was definitely about Mica, whether it was directly related to her, her untimely death. The thing that I'm saying is that with regard to that search warrant, it had Mica's name all over it, because but for Mica leaving behind journals and evidence and information that would leave a trail for the FBI to follow, they would have never knocked on his door ever to begin with. So is it directly related to Mica and her passing? Well, gosh, I certainly hope so to some degree. But I also say this, that don't forget, there have been plenty of people in the past where we never, got to arrest them for what we alleged that they had done. I always like to say, Al Capone didn't go to prison for murdering anyone. He went to prison for tax evasion.
So, and many questions about the journals. It seems Regina Ward here confirms that the journals are there. They have them. The FBI has them. So after this raid, it was being reported that Solid Rock's final day was on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. And that was another thing, too. I put it in my community tab. Solid Rock Church is no more. They took the sign down, and J.P. Miller was asking for, to sell Solid Rock. But the sketchy thing was that he was asking to not involve realtors and or to use a realtor from Solid Rock, I do believe, but he was trying not to use a realtor at all selling Solid Rock. So that church is no more.
John Paul Miller, because he's not a man, he's not a pastor, he's not a leader, was not there to address the final service of his congregation. He was not there to address the people who have blindly stood by him. He was not there to give them that respect. He was not there to give them an explanation of the FBI. He was not there because pastors are leaders. Pastors take the flock through the storm. Pastors will go after the sheep that roam off on their own. Pastors are Christ followers, and they are willing to be at the front of the line through all of this. And John Paul Miller has spent the last 6 months trying to convince those people that he is the victim. And now the FBI shows up, and John Paul Miller is a no-show for the people who stood by his side despite all the evidence that has come out since the passing of Mica Miller. Where was John Paul Miller? Right there. Susie trailing far behind him. And I bring this up again. We're going to get to the arrest. I'm sending the timeline from Friday to late Wednesday night over the last 5 days. I bring this up again because for the first time in a long time, my heart hurt for Susie when the Daily Mail posted this picture. That is a woman, in my opinion, who is carrying the burdens of her decisions. This is how she walks behind John Paul Miller. This is how she follows him. Her head down, hands together. Her children nowhere to be found. And after the FBI raid, and after the closure of Solid Rock Church, she follows behind John Paul like this.
It is hard for me to feel sympathy for her. My sister, growing up, would always tell me that I need to pray for more compassion. I need to be more sympathetic towards people. And it is very true. It is one thing about me. I lack that sometimes. My first instinct is to not feel bad for people, is to not feel sympathy, is to not feel compassion. So I physically have to stop myself sometimes and be like, hey man, you don't know their story. Bring it down a notch. You know what I mean? That's one of my, I guess, negative personality traits, I assume. I'm not sure. But that is true. I have always lacked compassion firsthand, like seeing something, and I can't. Like, I don't feel bad for her. And I feel like my opinion would be different if she was not a mother, but she's a mom to children, yet still hanging around JP. Like, you have had multiple chances to decide if this is a good idea or not, and you have continuously chosen this man over your kids. No, I viscerally, physically feel it in my body. Disgusting. Gross. Don't feel bad. I've goosebumps. Do not feel bad for her. I'm not saying you don't feel bad for her, because, like, obviously I'm gonna assume that you are more compassionate than me. I'm just gonna assume that for some reason. I don't know. But I'm telling you, man, I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. Again, she has had numerous chances to no longer quite literally follow him around. And again, like I'm saying, man, if she was single, if she was younger, I would be like, no, ma'am, like, get out. Like, I totally understand this. I understand the manipulation. I get, but dude, once you have kids, you're still gonna make that 18-year-old to 20-year-old woman decision of following this man after proof after proof, after allegation after allegation, after even an allegation of him with minors. That's my dog. She gets upset when she gets itchy. Okay. I don't feel bad. Once you have children, your priority, duh, is your children. She is being, in my opinion, she is being a terrible mother. Don't care. She's being a terrible mom. Don't care. I don't care. Like, if you, or where are her kids, dude? Where are her children? Because remember, her husband died. Where are her kids? When the Daily Mail, people filming in their freaking car, is capturing her walking behind JP. I don't feel bad. I don't.
And the public and myself and others have not been too kind to Susie. And I'm going to be honest, it's probably warranted. She's made the bed that she is in, no pun intended. And these are the consequences of that bed. But Susie, if you need help, we can help you. No questions asked. I don't care what you know. I don't care what you've done. I don't care about any of that stuff. If you need help, we can help you. We will get you to the people you need to get to. Nobody, I don't care. Listen to me. Nobody will judge you. If you need help, we will help you.
There's that lack of compassion coming in again. Does he mean that if she came forward in saying, I need help, that we wouldn't judge? Because absolutely. Because absolutely. We're not going to judge you for asking for help. But are we going to judge you for kicking your kids to the curb to follow this man? To, quite literally, follow behind this man who allegedly had something to do with killing his wife, among other things. We're not going to judge that. Already there. Not judging, not having compassion, or like, well, be compassionate, Susie Skinner. I can't do it, dude. I can't. I physically cannot feel bad for a woman who has, I understand that she's being manipulated. I understand that she's being lied to. I get it. But when your kids are involved, your husband is dead, and you're most of the time not with your children, and you're with this piece of a shit man. And these children aren't like all college aged kids to where it would be, it would also be a little different if she was living like the single life and, all of her children were off to college and stuff. I feel like that would also be different, but she's not, dude. Where are her children? Again, she has made the decision over, and then this is why I'm getting a little vulnerable with, whatever. The reason why I naturally lack compassion, because everybody has the choice to decide. Okay, You can decide this path or you can decide this path. And the reason why I do lack compassion is because if I took different decisions if I made different decisions when I was 22, 23, that would end me up on the street and addicted to pills. Hands down, alcoholic, addicted to pills. If I continued the path I was on. But I made a choice. I made several of those decisions, but I made those decisions in the lowest time of my life that this isn't the future that I want. And I, took a long time, obviously, but like, we got out of that. I got out of that. We all have the ability to make choices. So make better ones. Susie, make better ones. And if you need help, of course, there's no judgment. If you're like, okay, I need out of this, I need help, 100%. No judgment there. However, there is judgment right now because you're not putting your kids first. If you need help making the decisions, ask yourself, what will benefit my kids in the next 5 years? What will benefit my kids in the next freaking week or month? Put your kids first, man. Put your kids first. Stop following this. Y'all, if I'm really stuck on not having compassion for this woman because children. But y'all, let's talk about it. Because though I don't think my mind can be changed right now, y'all might turn this cold lack of compassion heart to maybe feeling sympathy for her. But I'm telling you, when kids are involved, my lack of sympathy and compassion go all the way down.
And you don't have to come to me. We have something that is being set up that I'm hoping to announce in this live. Waiting for confirmation to give the thumbs up. We're having something set up for potential alleged victims of John Paul Miller, a safe space for them to come forward. Listen to me. And Susie, this applies maybe to you or maybe to others. We're setting something up for potential alleged victims of John Paul Miller to come forward anonymously to get help. I don't care. Listen to me. I don't care if you've signed an NDA. I don't care if you've been paid off. I've heard there's many women out there that have signed NDAs. I've heard there's many women out there that's been paid off. I don't care. You can come forward. Okay?
That would be crazy if these women sign NDAs. I guess, them keeping their mouth shut, NDA and paid off, that would make sense. That's nuts.
You can come forward. You will stay anonymous. Nobody will know anything about your story. Nobody. We don't have to know your name. There's something being set up to get you to the people you need to speak to. And if y'all need help, me getting you there, I will help you. I don't need to know your story. I don't need to see evidence. I don't need anything. If you need help, I will get you there. So hopefully I'll be able, by the end of this live, be able to announce those plans and the details. So if I don't get to it in this live, I'm sorry. But we are waiting for the thumbs up. I know some of you will disagree. But if that picture doesn't break your heart, I understand. But it broke mine. Then, moving out day. Charles Randall, John Paul Miller, and others seen cleaning out the Church of Solid Rock Church. Information was really coming fast on this day. We had got reports that John Paul had called former members allegedly and told them to come get whatever they wanted. He was getting rid of stuff like that. We also got reports that the principal of the school that John Paul Miller was the owner of, in charge of, was reaching out to other people trying to find a place for the remaining students. We're being told that 5 students allegedly remain at Faith First Academy. This is big. This story is so big, so large. I forget that some people who are just getting involved in this case do not realize that this man has been accused by his ex-wife of inappropriate relationships with children. Some of you want me to say what it is because I don't.
That is why I lack compassion over that woman. It's not just the accusation that he had something to do with Mica Miller dying. It's that there are several accusations out there from doing stuff with minors. What are you thinking?
My videos to be flagged. I don't want my videos to be, taken down. I say it that way. You know what it is. Allegedly from Allison Williams in court documents filed a few months ago. And she says she's got the names. And I have a feeling that the FBI has the names too. So we got word that Faith First was closing its doors, that Solid Rock was closing its doors, and then quickly we're getting reports that John Paul was trying to sell the building. We've heard numbers between $2 to $3 million. And according to one source, he is not interested in including a realtor, a real estate agent. Not long after this, yesterday, Trisha Ross came out to tell a reporter to stay off the property. And then here's the interaction.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Okay.
Something property.
Okay, I just wanted to let
Yes,
you
ma'am.
know. Thank you.
I was just trying to be careful. That if I something property, I apologize.
Okay, thank you so much.
But we'd be going to jail for that.
Well, I didn't. If I, yeah, no, I
You're
get.
fine. I
She's
just
right. I
wanted
mean,
to let you know.
yes, ma'am. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I wonder if she's worried about the FBI. She needs to be worried.
Well, you should be. Trisha, you wrote $350 benevolence checks.
I put everything that I do, not anything.
Trisha, you know it was illegal. You know you did it.
Why didn't you help Mica?
Michael was very close to me.
I doubt that.
But why didn't you help her?
Why didn't you get
help
away
her?
from JP?
You help JP.
Make sure you take your stripper pole with you.
What'd she say?
You should have helped her.
She only does what she's told, and Micah was very close to her.
So Trisha, confronted by protesters, Well, let me say this. She came out to them first. Trisha confronted by protesters. And Trisha saying that her and Michael were very close. I'm telling you, there may have been a time, but in the final months of her life, you were not. You are lying. And if the mood is different in today's live, it's because it is. You were not close to Mica in the final months and weeks of her life. You knew exactly what John Paul was doing. You knew he was tracking her. You knew he was following her. And my question to you is, did you write the checks to have her followed? And I don't know if that's criminal or not. I don't know if the FBI is interested in that, but you should be ashamed of yourself. And you should carry the burden of guilt. Whether Mica did it herself or not, you should be ashamed of yourself for assisting in harassing that woman. If you wrote the checks to have her, you knew she was being followed. You knew she was. I've seen your text messages. If you wrote the checks to have her tracked and followed that ultimately led to her death, whether she did it herself or not, you should carry the guilt for the rest of your life. And some of you, I saw a comment yesterday that you're tired of Robbie preaching. Here you go. The X button at the top left hand, or hit the next button, or hit the unsubscribe button. But I'm upset about this stuff. And it's all because the public doesn't know all the details. Wait until you, and I don't know all the details. I only know what I know. I know it's more than you, but I can't imagine what the FBI has. I can't imagine what we're going to learn in the next several months, and it should upset you. And somebody needs to stand on the mountaintop and scream until something is done. And it infuriates me. The justification for tracking this woman, the lies we were told, I did it to prevent her from purchasing a weapon. We know that's not true. We know that's not true. And so later yesterday afternoon, the altercation between John Paul Miller and a Justice for Mica protester takes place. Take a look.
Uh-oh, y'all. What's going on? JP just touched that. JP just touched that girl. Oh my God, y'all. What the f? Whoa. He just touched her. There's John Paul Miller. He's recording us. There he goes. Look at him. Look at him. Wow. Wow. He touched her.
You're cracking, JP. The FBI's coming. We told you.
I want to be very clear on all of this. No one should intentionally provoke John Paul Miller. You should not follow him. You should not harass him. I'm not saying these ladies did that. I know some people have tried. You should not stalk him at his home. I've said that on my Facebook posts in the past. You cannot do that to this man, because if we knew at some point, once the FBI was moving in, he was going to become dangerous. And for those of you trying to say you don't see it, you don't see where the assault happened, let's go back and look. This woman is standing next to her car. He charges at her. That is enough for me. If I see a man charging at my wife like this, it is going to be a bad, bad day for that man. We live in Florida. He is charging at her.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, y'all. What's going on?
Listen to what he says.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, y'all. What's going on?
And you can hear him say, "What'd you say? What'd you say?" I want people to look at this image. Forget this moment, this one moment. Because if you hate preaching, you better.
On the other videos, I did not see him run after her. I did not even notice, because I was like, where in the world is he touching her? But I did not see him run towards her. Yeah, that's pretty intimidating.
Better back out. Look at this moment. This is a woman he doesn't know, other than she's a protester. And we know how much he hates protesters. Now I want you to understand something. We see his anger in this clip. Look at that. He snaps. He charges at a woman and gets in her face. Whether he touched her or not, it's alleged. We don't know. I can't tell. Now imagine he finding out that Mica is done. Imagine he finding out that Mica is finally leaving for good this time. Imagine he finding out that Mica was with another man on March 11th. Imagine his reaction when Mica kissed that man. Thank God that was her last kiss. Thank God he was not her last kiss. Imagine he finding out that Mica reported the church to the IRS. Imagine he finding out that Mica filed a protection order request. Imagine he finding out that Mica filed and was ready to leave. Can you imagine the breaking point of this man? We have seen it now with complete strangers. All that Mica knew, everything she knew. And now she's leaving. And now she's telling him, quote unquote, walk away. He took her car. He took her possessions. He did everything he could to punish her. He posted topless photos of his wife because he was angry. Imagine the moment he found out that Mica filed a restraining order. Imagine that moment. Imagine the moment when she uploaded these videos, finally speaking publicly to people that the head of the church, her husband, this pastor, was abusing her, was allegedly forcing her to do recreational drugs, was abusing her physically, mentally, all from the words of Mica. For the first time, she spoke publicly about it. For the first time, she got brave enough to come out against her husband after years and years of alleged abuse. Imagine his reaction.
So you don't have to stay in a abusive relationship, whether that's sexual, whether that's somebody forcing you to take illegal drugs, or alcohol abuse, or physical abuse, psychological abuse, making you think that this is all your fault, or you're a bad mom, or you're a bad wife, or you're a bad husband, or you're not giving it your all when you know you are. God hates divorce, but why? According to everybody I've asked and the scriptures that I've found, it's because it hurts people. But does abuse hurt people? How do you think God feels about that?
Imagine the words from Mica when she tells her friends and family, if I end up dead, he did it. She's dead. Then late last night, John Paul Miller was arrested. Here's what's really weird about this. Miller, if you look at it, was arrested late last night. So I'm finding it odd. And I've been told by reports, I think it's on the report, 2300. So at 11 o'clock at night, he was arrested. Now, I want to clear something up. There was reports of an alleged assaulting a police officer. There is nothing to back that up. The reports came from reliable sources. We're not quite sure why they reported that. There's no more answers coming from officials, but there's nothing to back up of an alleged assault of a police officer. So unless something else comes out, I don't believe that happened. But this arrest happened late at night, and I don't get it. It's really weird. The alleged assault happened in the afternoon, and then they arrest him 11 o'clock at night. I don't know, allegedly. Now, the biggest atrocity about all of this, look at this man. And this is the proof that Myrtle Beach police, and I'm joking a little bit here, but I'm being serious about this. Myrtle Beach police, Robeson County Sheriff's Department, everybody involved, they don't care about details. This man is not 160 pounds.
Dude, I literally read that. I was like, 6'2", 160 pounds. He either, like, I am 166, 167. I am 5'7". Okay, obviously, like, I'm a female, but that's the difference. That would make the difference. But what I'm saying is, like, 6'2", 160 pounds, that is lean. That is lean for a man. If he's 6'2", and, 190, maybe 200, he would look, healthy. But 160, that's, yeah, when I saw that, I was like, it would make sense if he was like, 5'7" or 5'9", because he would, be short, but, and have a shorter stature. But 6'2", 160 pounds, and then it shows him, look, yeah, he is absolutely correct. He is not 160 pounds.
He's not. But that is what he is listed as. I don't care. He is not 160 pounds. My opinion, looks to me 230, 240. 6'2". I'm just saying, 160. And it's little details like that that have been ignored for the past 7 years that is turning out to matter. And many of you are watching this and saying, Robbie, it's just a little thing. It's just a small thing. Yeah, I agree. That's the frustrating part. These little things have turned out to matter. For example, when filing for his nonprofit, it says that you have to have a board of a church, and there's nobody listed. With the state of South Carolina, how was he able to get away with this? According to Fitz News, you have to have a board if you have a church, and nobody is listed. It's little details that are coming out now that matter. Now, jokingly, 160, John Paul, come on. Stop it. Stop it. That's absurd. I mean, my wife, she gives herself 5 pounds. No, y'all don't tell her. How many pounds do y'all give yourself when you tell somebody? Watch the comment section. 160. Crazy. At least put 200. You put 200, I'll be like, okay, we can get away with that. 160? Stop it. Whew. Look, I'm sorry for there. 160. Anyways. And then after his bond hearing, we had the live stream. There was no audio to it. I really hate that. We couldn't hear what was being said. Russell Long was there to represent him. But let's take a look at the walkout of the courthouse and jail earlier today. I love everybody pretending to be on the phone. Oh, let's read this book.
Hey. John Paul, any reactions today?
No. Y'all have a great day. Thank you.
Am I out of focus? My goodness, come on, camera. Something worked right today. If you put my hand close. Am I out of focus? There we go. Let's back up a little. I'm more in focus if I back up. My degree's in film and television, so I hate little stuff like that. So that's where we're at. My question is now this. Will the FBI consider this man dangerous? And will they move quicker? Will they work harder to get him behind bars? I want to be very clear. Leave the man alone. We need to let the FBI go at the timeline they want to go. So if he becomes more dangerous, the FBI may move faster than they want to, and we don't want that. It's difficult to be patient. And I know a lot of you are commenting. I'm sorry, guys. I've got a new system going here, so I'm trying my best. I'm trying to figure out a way to read comments while this is happening. I'll get to that. I believe we're seeing the real John Paul. And I don't want anyone hurt. Do the right thing, y'all. Stay away from this man. I truly believe he is dangerous. And he knows what is out there. The problem is he doesn't know who has talked. Some of you have seen some witnesses publicly. But trust me, there's a lot more. And you will see them eventually. But there's a lot more. And that's what's driving John Paul crazy. He can't remember what lie he has spoken. And he can't remember who he told it to. And he doesn't know who Mica told the truth to. And we know John Paul tries to create a narrative if he can figure out what the opposing story is. But when he doesn't know who it is, or what they're saying, or what they know, or what they have, or what they've seen, then he can't figure out how to get out of it. And that's driving him crazy. So please, stay away from him. I truly believe he's dangerous.
Okay, y'all. I'm going to cut it off there because this is going to be a long video anyway. So those are the updates with John Paul Miller and Mica Miller, the Mica Miller investigation. He has done a few other lives that I'm debating on doing. I'll probably do the next video I'll probably do is called Pieces of the Puzzle. And I watched like a few seconds of it, and he starts it out with like, this is gonna be the thing that solves the Mica Miller investigation, and that's where I stopped watching it so we could watch it together. He's done a few other lives, like you might remember, John Paul Miller was the owner of Crocodile Rocks, and that was a bar in Myrtle Beach, which is so gross of a pastor to be financially invested in, the owner of a bar. It just is. It's trashy and it's gross for a pastor. But evidently in one of their meetings, somebody was recording the whole entire meeting, and so those tapes came out, and so he did a live one and a live part one, a live part two, and both of them are like 45 minutes. And then he came out with Pieces of the Puzzle. So there's been a lot of information about JP Miller coming out in the last few weeks and even the last few days. So I'm really trying to keep up on that. So y'all let me know, because the next one I was going to do was the Pieces of the Puzzle, okay? But y'all let me know if you would want to see the Crocodile Rocks tapes reaction, so we can sit here and listen to that together and learn together. I'm gonna start getting ready for my day so I can look presentable. But other than that, I do appreciate y'all so very much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.